did not know that I was actually a fan of Tim Burton. I had seen Pee-wee's Big Adventure and Beetlejuice, and about the time that I was witnessing Batman at a young age, which is a movie that, changed my life, and a film that my father took me to go see, I was so happy because all my friends had gone and seen it, and I asked my dad, Dad, please, I really want to go see the Batman movie. Will you please take me to see the Batman movie? And I think that's what ignited my whole love for Tim Burton. Then I realized that he was the director of Beetlejuice and Pee-wee's Big Adventure, these two movies that I had grown up renting like a billion times. And then to find the fact that the guy who wrote the score later when I was in the early 90s, I had found the band Oingo Boingo and realized that the same Danny Elfman that was writing these scores for Pee-wee's Big Adventure, Beetlejuice, Batman, and Edward Scissorhands was the same Danny Elfman that was in this awesome, wonderful band that I still absolutely love, Oingo Boingo, one of the greatest bands ever. Maybe one of the greatest underrated bands ever. And so I've always been a fan of Tim Burton. I'd have to say the movie that really gets me, tugs at my heart and fills me with so much emotion would be Edward Scissorhands. You listen to that music by Danny Elfman and you can't help but just be whisked away to a magical world. It's an amazing film. But the film that I feel that it is Tim Burton's ultimate masterpiece, probably a film that not a lot of people have seen, and I highly recommend you go check it out right now. After you watch this review, if you have not seen the film Ed Wood, 1994's Ed Wood, starring Johnny Depp, Patricia Arquette, Sarah Jessica Parker, and the great Martin Landau, who won an Oscar. It also won Best Makeup, I believe, the Oscar. Awesome movie, hilarious. Someday I hope to share my love for Ed Wood, the film, and also Ed Wood, the filmmaker, and all his terrible, terrible movies that inspired that great 1994 film. There hasn't been a single film that I have not enjoyed from the mind of Tim Burton, even some of the films that he probably wants to forget he ever made. Planet of the Apes, still like it. It's probably a guilty pleasure. I really enjoyed Tim Burton's films, probably for more of the visual sense. Some of his films, mainly Edward Scissorhands, the original Batman, those are the films that, got me really emotional because just some of the great music and visuals and the visual style and everything. Some of his later films, I enjoyed Alice in Wonderland. I thought it was visually stunning. And Big Fish and Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. None of those films have been that spectacular since his late 80s films and early 90s, but I still love his visual style. He helped create The Nightmare Before Christmas. Oh, I love that music. I can listen to that. That is the only Christmas music that I would enjoy listening to throughout the year. Other than that, Christmas music I feel is just for the time of December and up to the 25th. And then let's move on and enjoy the new year. His new film, Dark Shadows, I believe, is based on a soap opera from the late 60s, early 70s about Barnabas Collins. Barnaby Collins. Isn't that Barnabas? Barnaby? One of that. It's about a vampire, and it's a soap opera. I remember as a kid growing up and changing the channel and passing it and being like, this is kind of weird. Not knowing that it was some sort of vampire soap opera. I think they shot it on video, so it gave that appeal that it was on a set. Like probably they shoot all those crappy soap opera movies that are soap opera shows that are on today. But I never was really intrigued. I wish maybe if it was, it was on maybe later in life, I would have been more intrigued. I know it's probably just reruns because it was. I grew up as a kid in the 80s, so I wasn't really aware of Dark Shadows that much. And then I heard that Tim Burton was going to make a movie on it. I knew it was about a vampire, and that's really all I knew. I knew that I loved Tim Burton's visual style, so I was really excited to see it and see what he could do. The trailer was kind of weird. It looked like he was going to go for a more comedic approach to the film. That intrigued me a little bit. So now that I've seen the film, what do I have to say? It's probably going to be the same thing I've just been saying repeatedly over and over again right now. Awesome visual style, costume design, production design, art direction, cinematography, the look, the feel, the music. I really enjoyed Danny Elfman's score. Do I remember it just yet? No, not just yet. But I hope to hear it over and over and over again and it become part of me. Because I really like the score of the film. And then emotionally, not so much. This film has the best opening that I've seen in a movie this year so far. I just love that whole backstory of how he actually became the vampire. and I found that to be incredibly intriguing. I was like, oh my gosh, this could be interesting. Slowly as the movie was going, there was a really great cameo by Alice Cooper. That's really no surprise because his name's in the credits, so you know he's coming. It was funny to see him. It looked like they caked on a lot of makeup because the guy's, that's 1972, and now it's, what, 40 years ago? So he's 40 years older since that time period, so they probably caked on a lot of makeup. He looked great. He looked, as Alice Cooper, the great Alice Cooper. I wish he maybe had some dialogue. He just came in and did some singing, and yeah, that was about it. I felt like there was a lot of missed opportunities for some character development. Johnny Depp looks great. He looks like he's having a lot of fun. The whole cast looks like they're just hamming it up. They're just, they look great. I mean, Eva Green and Helen Bonham Carter, Michelle Pfeiffer, and Chloe Grace Moretz. They all have this really cool look. And also I can't help it. I have to mention Jackie Earle. Oh, what's his name? Crap. Okay, I'm going to get his name right, because I think he deserves it. I'm sorry about that. I'll edit that all together. Jackie Earle Haley, right there. Little children. I had to find that. I had to search for his name, because I got to find his name. Jackie Earle Haley. He looked really, it looked like he was having fun in the movie. I wish, he got a chance to do more, but here, this is Little Children. Okay. So there's a colorful cast. It has that great visual style of Tim Burton, what we all expect. I just wish I was more emotionally invested into the characters. I loved all the Source music. They used a lot of great Source music from that time, and there was a lot of funny stuff. I mean, I laughed a few times. It wasn't. I wish it was a great film. I really wish it was a great film. That's about it. It looked really good, and I just wish it pulled me in more. I wish the story was more interesting and effective. Oh, I know. I want to mention. After this opening sequence, it goes into the story and it introduces this character, this girl, who's on her way to the job. She's on her way to the Collins to get a job. She's really intriguing. I was really captivated by her performance in the very beginning. Once Johnny Depp shows up as the vampire, Barnabas Collins, the movie goes in that direction and it kind of forgets her for a while. It forgets this whole thing that was going on. I would have liked that they'd been able to balance both stories, because I was really intrigued to what she was all about, where she was going. So that's probably my major complaint, is that as much as I love Johnny Depp and his performance in this film, I think he just empowered the whole movie once he showed up. And forget this one chick. I mean, we'll definitely use her near the end, in the middle somewhere, but so when it all came together near the end, I could not help feel a little, underdeveloped stuff that didn't make sense. But the film's very visually stunning. I don't know how many more times I can say how visually beautiful the film is. If it gets nominated for Oscars in that department, man, it surely deserves nominations in the art direction, production design, the visual department. That's what it deserves the most. I hope you enjoyed this review. I'm going to give Dark Shadows 3 stars. If you enjoyed this review and you want to comment below and like, and then subscribe right up there. What is your favorite Tim Burton film? What is your favorite Johnny Depp film? And what is your favorite Jackie Earle Haley film? Mine would have to be Little Children, or The Bad News Bears, or Watchmen. Oh gosh, I could go down all the movies that I know that he's in recently. You can like me on Facebook and follow me on Twitter at MovieManCHAD. And you can go on WeLiveFilm.com, check out my stuff. Also, you can subscribe on YouTube, We Live Film. I want to put all this in the description box below. And last but not least, I want to give a shout out to Almost Domi. She does movie reviews. She loves life. She vlogs about her life. She's on her way to France right now, visiting family. And I consider another movie review friend of mine. And I highly recommend that you subscribe to her channel. I'll put a link below to Almost Domi. Subscribe. Next movie, I think, will be The Dictator. I hope.